All right, we're back, everybody. Sorry about the technical difficulties that we've been having throughout the day, but appreciate you all sticking with us. Cubby, thank you for your insightful analysis in the Twitch chat. But I think you have some competition because I saw Tim Sevenhusen in there as well, dropping some knowledge bombs. So I don't know, man. Your spot on the desk is a little jeopardized.
It's always in jeopardy whenever Tim chips in. The Giga Brain that runs Oracle's Elixir. Check it out if you guys want to see some good info on all things Academy and Semi-Pro. Shameless plug for Tim in the chat, as we are going to hop in the draft for Game 1 between Dignitas and FlyQuest and Kangas. I have to catch everyone up listening, not tuning into the Twitch chat. What game plan do we think we're going to see from both teams here, specifically Dignitas? I know we have a lot of notes for them after their series yesterday.
And so the big thing is we're not quite aware of where we left off when the stream had paused there. So we might be repeating some information. So sorry if that does happen. But hey, we want to break down these teams and give them some justice. So right off the bat, we saw the Viego priority. Weren't too impressed by it. I still think it's viable for Dignitas Academy, though, because clearly they came in thinking that would work for them. I just want them to draft a little bit better around that Viego and help enable him, because he can take a little bit to come online. He's not really impactful until you have that first item completed. So we'll see what they decide to do with that. But let's catch everybody up on the bans first, though. Lulu, Lucian, Thresh, and then Gwen Udyr from FlyQuest Academy.
Been primarily seeing Gwen Udyr taken away on red side, and also a lot of these Sin bans as well. Curious, though, it's actually going to be the Renekton. So champions that are first pickable up, we have Varus, we have Lee Sin, and we have Rumble as Dignitas. Would not be surprised to go for the Lee Sin. An expected triple flex for them, as I think that both solo laners, and then we know Acadian historically has been able to play this pick.
And I think that Lee Sin is still viable in the jungle as well. We are talking about in Twitch chat the champ pool from Yasui liking to play AD mid laners, and that works in the meta right now because there are a lot of AP junglers, but I feel like Acadian has always looked more comfortable on picks like the Lee Sin. So I actually think that they could hold out and just give that to him if this comes down to comfort. But right as I'm saying that, they are hovering the Diana. It is going to be played into the Rumble and the set.
Yes, and so Diana, we've been seeing this pick kind of crop up into Rumble. The reason why is that it still brings AP damage, as we have the AD brawlers being pretty strong right now in the meta. But also, once Diana reaches level 6, if you find Rumble in the jungle, you pretty much just burn his flash for free if you're able to land the Q, right? It's really difficult to deal with Diana in the skirmishes, and this is something that's going to be very skirmish-heavy for Dignitas, a style that we saw them try and go for yesterday, but because the Viego is so tough to get off the ground, just did not work out for them. As FlyQuest picking the set and the Rumble, not surprised. Set actually a really good matchup into Lee Sin. I think notably, shoutouts to PCL, former top laner for TSM Academy, currently playing on Resolve in the semi-pro amateur circuit. Really showing that it's a powerful pick into Lee Sin, and I want to see if Kumo or Triple are able to pilot it correctly in that matchup, because it's something that can really actually bully Lee Sin out of the lane, something not a lot of champs can do right now.
Also very flexible still, because we've seen it played in the support role. It would be paired with an Ezreal, which might not be the best matching there, but Dignitas locking in that Tristana. This is a pick that I know Yasui likes to play as well, but Spawn can, so a lot of flexibility from both of these drafts right now. No one really showing definitively what they're going to be going for, but we're starting to see the team composition shape up, right? Dignitas have Lee Sin and Diana. They can dive, they can get onto these 80 carries. FlyQuest Academy might be playing a little bit more peel back, right? Like, Set's great at peeling. Ezreal can also peel for himself pretty well. So we'll have to see what the final picks are to really solidify these team compositional identities. But focus from FlyQuest, get rid of these engaged supports, and Dignitas on the same page.
Yeah, and Dignitas trying to get rid of things that deal well with Diana as well. Leona being one of them, right? A 4-second point-and-click stun in melee range, something that Diana does not deal well with. And so look for them to eradicate some more champions that can stop Diana from going in for free. FlyQuest already have a nice tool to deal with it with the Ezreal. Obviously, Arcane Shift being really good against that champion. Also Set, you can just clap Diana and then RKO her back into the rest of the enemy team. Pretty good as well, but it's a feast or famine champion. And so if FlyQuest are able to get a draft that deals with Diana pretty well, and they're able to slow it down early, if the champion never gets off the ground, it can look pretty weak. So I want to look for Dignitas, see if they can pair things up to make sure Diana can get to level 6 and can start to hunt for Rumble in the jungle, take him down, and stop him from hitting those early item spikes where he just becomes that team-fighting menace.
And that's what we saw yesterday when Dignitas played this same matchup. Acadian on the Diana into the Rumble, tried to make plays happen before level 6, and got put really far behind because of it. The plays did not go in their way. So I'm hoping that they learn from that and realize, okay, maybe let Acadian hit that level 6 power spike before actually going for those aggressive plays into the Rumble's face. But we see the final bans here. Jay's taken off the table from Dignitas Academy. I think that's an answer to the Gnar ban. Makes a lot of sense. But FlyQuest locking in a Karma. Still flexible, but interesting nonetheless.
Yeah, Karma very flexible, but also really good against Diana, right? Speeding up your teammates to escape that melee ult range. Also, the Mantra Shield can help absorb a lot of that damage that Diana can put down. And Diana only goes in, right? So that route that Karma has access to in her kit deals very well with that champion as well. But Karma can sometimes not deal well with, though, is hard engage that makes sure that she gets blown up in a fight before she's able to utilize those supportive abilities. Rel is one of those, and Rel has some great synergies with the champions that Dignitas have right now to try and land that stun across the team. So really like this pick for Dig.
Yeah, JJ, one of the early piloters of the Rel pick in professional play as well, so maybe a little bit back to comfort for him too. And we haven't seen a lot of Rel because people are prioritizing things more like the Leona and Nautilus, but when they're banned out, it still works. And we are seeing the Nocturne locked in as well. This is a lot of dive.
This is what we were expecting from Dig, right? Skirmishing, and the Nocturne Diana combo, very scary, and for me, much stronger than the Viego combo that they were running yesterday against EG in that second game. So I like the draft adaptations for Dignitas, and Viego, we were talking poorly about B1 Viego, but FlyQuest, they see the team of Dignitas, they feel comfortable that Triple can pilot this champion and get those resets. He's going to take the Ruin King for himself in the mid lane with that R5 and Kangas. I think it's a comp that, with the help of Karma and the initial upfront damage from Rumble and control from Set, where the Viego might be able to get a reset or two.
I think that there's a higher chance that the Viego can work with this comp right here, especially when you have things like the Karma Shield to help you out from getting bursted down. But the big thing is the mental game for me. I mean, you see he's coming off of 2 losses on this champ, and now Triple locks it in. But it is important to note that we're seeing the Lee Sin played in mid lane into the Viego. I actually like that matchup a little bit more. I think that the Lee Sin can provide way more aggression against Viego. And then also, you're getting away from that set matchup that you had mentioned before. So I like this adaptation from Dig. But let's see if FlyQuest will give it to them, because they still could pull 100 Thieves and put Triple top lane Kumo mid.
Is an option for FlyQuest, as I think the big key for FlyQuest in this one is I don't really see a lot of ways that they can stop Diana from hitting level 6 for free. And I want to see if they go for something interesting level 1, because Karma Ezreal, it's a lot of poke that you can utilize level 1 to try and get a health bar advantage or get some sort of invade on the bot side. So see if FlyQuest look for that in this early game, Kangas.
But once Acadian is level 6, that bot lane, even if they're shoving in, they're in a lot of danger. Because you already mentioned the hard engage from the Rel coming in here, but also the fact that Diana can get onto that Karma fairly easily. And Ezreal can get away, but Karma has a much tougher time with that. So FlyQuest Academy, it seems like they want to get to some big item breakpoints, right? Ezreal's very strong once he hits that one item completed. Viego as well. And then the Rumble, if you can go for that Night Harvester. Although we've actually been seeing a lot more Proto Belt, important to note, on the Rumble rather than the Night Harvester build. Any insight into that one as to why that change happened?
Yeah, that gives you a little bit more mobility, and then also the Mythic passive just grants Rumble stats that he'd rather have. I believe the Night Harvester grants the ability haste, which Rumble doesn't use quite as well, but it does grant more upfront damage on the ultimate, which I think is important for this game, because you need to get the first kill for Viego to really be effective as a champion, right? Viego, his own kit, it's decent. He can kind of split push, but he can't get off the ground and running and take over team fights unless he's able to take over enemy champions and get refreshes on all those cooldowns, right? So that's the real important part for FlyQuest. Can they get that first kill to get triple rolling, get the resets? Whereas for Dignitas, very much the same thing, right? Can they get spawn going with the resets and the Goomba Stomps?
Reset City either way, but we see FlyQuest going for an early invade right now as we're loaded onto the Rift. For both of these teams, first game of their day 2 for the summer split. There will be an invade from FlyQuest. They're taking this red buff a little late right now, and Acadian's not getting a leash on the top side, so this actually opens up a lot of options for these junglers to path.
And this is what I was talking about with the Karma Ezreal. Now, JJ did pull the creep wave level 1. I'm curious to see if Karma Ezreal were able to get to the lane on time and they didn't miss any XP. We're going to have to look out for that. I believe they were able to get all the XP, and now because of the poke, able to zone out Dignitas as the first few skill shots missed, but Spawn's still not able to get to the first wave. Thumbs up, still got the job done.
I believe that was the Soraka on fire saying this is fine icon actually that he threw up there. But regardless, the wave will slow shove right now, but FlyQuest have control of it, so they will hit level 2 first. JJ and Spawn giving respect to that as I say that JJ thought maybe he had a chance to go in right there, but no, they do back off. But important to know here, NXI has not left the bottom jungle. He is still here taking these Krugs. JJ and Spawn will go check it, but there is backup from Diamond. JJ's over the wall. He gets the knockup. That's pretty good. Spawn over the wall himself, trying to get that damage down. Just commits the flash, but NXI says, okay, you're level 1. See you later.
The Uno reverse card played by NXI. He just trades places there with Spawn. Flash is blown. We're going to have to see if Acadian can punish. Acadian does have a level up onto NXI. No flash on Rumble. With this level, Acadian might be able to make a play. Is looking towards the blue buff, but decides against it. They're going to make a pass at mid lane.
Oh, he's looking for the gank onto triple. Get some good damage down, but nothing more than that. And he's pathing to the top side. They see that. So NXI might actually get this bottom scuttle. I think the reason is because they saw Diamond go from that tri-bush and path upwards. So Acadian's realizing, okay, there's going to be a Karma backing up the Rumble. So even though it doesn't have flash, probably a bad idea to go in there without Prio.
I love this from FlyQuest. You have an Ezreal bot, right? Utomo can farm from 1k range, no problem. So we're just going to bring Diamond up and ensure that Acadian isn't able to get access to this quadrant of the jungle. NXI has fully rotated over to ensure that it's a triple quadrant start for himself on the Rumble. This is what we talked about in this matchup, right? It's very important you set Diana behind, delay that level 6, and get Rumble ahead. Because if Diana gets 6 for free, you are in big trouble. Acadian's out of plays, out of options. He has to go for
he's not out of plays. He's got topside. Kumo's pushing really far forward. He has flash. Acadian's here. Crescent Strike lands. Lorlo's really low on mana, though, and kind of low on health. Kumo thinks he can take this. He's got the wave behind him. He's just bullying down Acadian. And with the autos from the minions, gets first blood for himself.
You can't mess with the boss in the top lane. If you come at the boss, you better be ready for the Fist of Fury. As Kumo simply claps the Diana, punches her out, and Acadian, this is a feast or famine champ with the Diana, right? It's so difficult to play this champ from behind, and Acadian, what a rough start for him, as all he has in his inventory, picked up the Dark Seal, picked up some socks, and now has to go back to his jungle and just pick up the pieces from what NXI took, as NXI still hasn't even completed his first full clear. He has access to all of his camps once again. Such a good start here for FlyQuest, and really punishing the early weaknesses of Diana. Is that forward step from Kumo? Yeah. It means that Acadian isn't able to get the reset. The mini waves hitting him. Conquer is fully stacked. Kumo realizes this, and it's just a punch out here as he sends Acadian back to the gray screen, back to the base.
And also, Lorlo was just out of mana, so he couldn't follow up. He couldn't walk through that wave. Kumo now feeling empowered with the Bramble Vest completed. Taking aggressive trades against Lorlo, who, again, TPing back in a lane, out of mana. So he's going to have a really rough time on this top half of the map. Meanwhile, Diamond's still just roaming everywhere. How much has Diamond even been in lane? You want to take a guess, like, percentage-wise here? Because it can't be above 65%.
I mean, the real lane here is jungle, right? We play for jungle if we're FlyQuest and we're NXI. We're trying to set Acadian as far behind as possible. And Diamond accomplishing that mission. And it's part of the reason that, you know, the strength of Ezreal, right? Ezreal farms from 1k range, scales for free. Once you hit 3 items, this champion is absolutely insane with Divine Sunder and Acadian.
Ooh,
no plays left.
Acadian
Once again, they have to go for it.
Diamond flashes very early, but he's got the move speed. He gets out of there. Now JJ, can he re-engage on? Ooh, the chains come down. They don't have the damage to actually take him out, but they were close. JJ almost goes down.
Oh, boy. Lorlo's in trouble now. Kumo has access to 6. I don't think Lorlo gets 6 off this wave because Acadian did share some XP. NXI playing around with Vision, going to blast Cone over.
Yeah, all right as Lorlo walks forward. Lorlo knows that he's in trouble. He's got the flash. He uses it. He's got no wave, though. And unfortunately, just carries Kumo to the safety of his own lane. Well done by FlyQuest.
And what a start for Kumo. This split and in this game, Kangas, as yesterday, Kumo 6-0-4 on Lee Sin and 7-3-13 on Wukong in their 2 wins respectively versus CLG. And Kumo was a player that last split in Proving Grounds in top lane didn't look at his strongest. Really good at Gnar, Shen, more of a role player, but now FlyQuest focusing a lot of time and resources into the top lane, and Kangas, what a massive start for him. Sitting at 2-0-0 as Lorlo set so far behind from that gank from NXI. FlyQuest is playing the map beautifully to start this one off, Kangas, as they find themselves with 1.5k gold lead and the first dragon to their names, as I lied, it goes over to Dig. Great way to finish a point.
Yeah, hey, I mean, it's easy to get confused right there, but it is actually NXI counter-jungling. This isn't his side of the jungle, Cubby. I know we've seen him over here a lot, but he is, in fact, on the red side, and it is Acadian on blue taking that dragon there. But yeah, NXI happy to farm out here, and Lorlo with no flash. He's level 6. NXI might just go for another gank. Is he going to hit his 6 himself? He does, but they don't have a wave to actually walk under that turret, so NXI and Kumo will not go for the dive.
Yeah, they don't see bot lane, and they didn't have shove mid, so they're respecting the fact that JJ could rotate up to this play, and instead they're going to set their sights on the mid lane. Yasui is slippery on the Lee Sin.
He threw out the Q, but it's got to be off cooldown now. Triple's walking this wave forward, and I don't think Yasui's really looking for anything right now. He's not hoping to scrap against Triple in a 1v1 with this wave. Right as I said, every time he hits one of those Qs, I hold my breath. Like, I know Yasui as a player. I know he looks for those solo outplays, but he's not going for it this time.
Kangas has been playing a little bit too much solo queue lately in Gold 3. You know, used to the Lee Sins taking the Qs.
Just gonna out me like that? Really?
It's not. You're better than 50%
I'll hit
of
Plaid.
players, man.
I'll hit Plaid. Okay, trust.
Okay. I haven't played a ranked game all season, man, and I hit GM last season, so it's real doom from my angle. As instead, NXI going to be hitting the Rift Herald, taking the eye, and looking to continue to snowball FlyQuest ahead, Kangas, as this early start, Acadian does have access to 6, but they've succeeded. They put Acadian behind, but Toma now alone.
They might have a play here. It isn't Ezreal. He can get away very easily. Flashes, still has the heal, but Acadian's committing to the play. Even though exhausted, I think that they get this. Dignitas have the damage. With 3 members there, Spawn picks up a kill.
Dignitas find the play. No teleports from FlyQuest to punish a pretty deep play from Dignitas, right? They spent a lot on that, almost going to the bot inner turret to find the kill on Tomo, but they do find it. They get more camps into Acadian and try to start to get this Diana off the ground that can take over a game if she gets ahead.
But the answer from FlyQuest right now, NXI pathing towards the top side. Has that Herald picked up. Might just try and funnel more gold onto Kumo here. The 2-0-0 set. The boss ready to carry through the top lane, but Lorlo actually playing very safe. Just happy to catch these waves as they shove in. Outside of that death going over and being down CS, Lorlo has done a decent job of just equalizing, right? No plates have fallen. He's caught most of these waves for XP, and he is still Nocturne, so he can look for plays, but where will they find that next play? They might just go here onto the lane. Look at Yasuo. Okuma's walking into a trap. He doesn't realize. JJ, Hex Flash over the wall. Yasui's right here, too. And 4 members of Dignitas say enough is enough. If the one gank didn't work, let's just send everybody up there. There's no way it doesn't work out for us. They pick up a kill.
Nice play coming out from Dignitas. We start to see them punch back a bit on the map here, Kangas, making this an even game in gold. And FlyQuest are not in position to counter dive on the bot side, so they get a couple unanswered plays across the map here, Kangas, as NXI rotating around, trying to zone off spawn. They do have access to Shelly, so this should be first brick over to FlyQuest, but it's good to see Dignitas finding their moments to get some shutdown gold back into their hands and at least doing something proactive on a rift that started so in favor of FlyQuest.
I mean, Dignitas want this. I think that they realized that FlyQuest would need to stay around for another plate to get the whole turret, so FlyQuest will just take the plates. They're not going to greed for it. I like that from Dignitas, though. They read it, said, okay, we can get there in time if they stick around, but either way, they save their turret. So, yeah, still very even gold state between the teams, Cubby. Happy you highlighted that because that's what Dignitas needed. They needed Acadian to hit level 6 in a fairly even game state, and now they can look for these plays.
And what I want to see Dignitas do with Acadian and looking for those plays, Kangas, is look for this Rumble. Rumble does not deal well with skirmishers. It's one of the ways you can get around the power that Rumble brings to the team fight. If Diana's able to get a little bit of help from either of those lanes and try and get some proactive wards into the jungle of FlyQuest, Diana can just go hunting for Rumble. NXI does have access to Flash, but if he has to blow it for any reason, it's free gold for Diana if she's able to land a Q onto Rumble. That's how powerful she is as a duelist and a skirmisher. And I really want to see Acadian try and play for that with the rest of his lanes. This is the style Dignitas is trying to go for. You spoke with Orlo yesterday. They want to start to go for more early plays as we have a play here.
JJ's trying to force the engage onto Triple. They poke him out a little bit, but teleport comes in now from Kumo. He's on the front line, but Lorlo getting it onto Triple. They can just take him out before the fight even begins, but no, it's a trade, killed it onto Diamond. 2 picked up quickly for Dignitas. Triple gets out, but it doesn't matter. They got a couple kills. Dignitas have control of the Dragon.
That TP from Lorlo, the fact that he turned off the Whites TP'd and then was able to get involved. FlyQuest, they were split. They didn't know what to do. Acadian just goes in on 2 of the split members towards the top side of the fight. Kangas burns them down immediately, and Dignitas all of a sudden turn this early game around back in their favor. Take that second Dragon and start to take a lead in this game.
I was a little worried with the setup from Dignitas there, not going to lie. I felt like FlyQuest had more members, but yeah, Lorlo's ultimate was enough. Let's get another look here, because JJ, he's ready to start the fight.
Yeah, and what JJ does is he just splits it up, right? So NXI and Kumo both stuck on the top side. You can see FlyQuest trying to, peel to get towards those members, but Yasui, oh my goodness, a 3-man kick
that
from
was
the
huge.
Lee Sin was massive and just shuts down any chance that FlyQuest have to win that fight. As Dignitas,
I think they killed NXI during the knock-up animation. Like, he just got 100 to 0 right there. That was a little ridiculous. And Dignitas found the fight that they've been looking for so far. A really good start to their second game of the season, or second match of the season, rather. We are in best of 2s. Got to keep reminding myself of that, even. And they now have a 1,000 gold lead, 2 Dragons to 0. And they might actually get this first turret here, because this is a Tristana who has been getting some alone time on the bottom turret.
Dignitas looking much better, much improved versus EG, or compared to going up against EG yesterday, Kangas. Where EG's early game, just a little bit too good. JJ.
Chubby, they're forcing it. They're just going right in on the
here.
Diamond. Acadian's there too, over the wall. Diamond's out of the fight. He's dead. Tomo maybe can trade onto Acadian, but Spawn, JJ, who's going to tank up the turret? They might just give up the dive. Yeah, they don't want to go too far forward. NXI and Triple are here. Equalizer down. Acadian takes a huge chunk from that one. Not dead yet. Tomo wants to get it. Oh, the flash with the Mystic shot, but Spawn jumps in aggressively. The absolute madman will try to kill onto the 80 carry. Triple gets a reset, but he's just the Rel right now. And yeah, I mean, honestly, I think the Dignitas still feeling pretty good about that when you're trading 2 for 2, but you're taking out Tomo, and you can probably stick around this bottom side.
Yeah, love how Dignitas and Acadian playing around those waves, right? Trying to punish the Karma Ezreal that are very powerful early in the game with their poke, but it's a lot easier to dive a Karma than it is to dive something like an Alistar, Leona, or a Nautilus, right? So Dignitas taking advantage of that with this Diana and trying to push Acadian ahead, who is sitting at 2-2 and 4, already has finished up that Proto Belt, Kangas, and now working towards that Zanya's Hourglass, is at the point where Diana can become a pretty major playmaker on the Rift. We're going to have to keep our eyes out for Acadian and who he decides to go on in these fights, because Diana has so much upfront damage built into her kit. It's going to have a big impact on whoever they want to go on. They have to melt that member and have to shut down the fight before Triple can get these resets.
And Acadian's also got a couple stacks in that Dark Seal too, right? Has the stopwatch primed and ready to go to pop off right now, based on how the early game has set him up. Different look for Dignitas, but a much better look for Dignitas. FlyQuest Academy finding themselves on the back foot here, so they still have a comp that can skirmish, they still have a comp that can fight, and Viego is a menace if he's able to hit that 2-item power spike as well. He's already completed that Blade of the Ruin King, but here we go, 1v1 Yasui versus Triple. Speaking of Viego, he's losing to the Lee Sin. This is why Dignitas wanted that lane matchup.
Yasui finds the 1v1 as he's looking real good on the Lee Sin here. 2-0-2, a solo kill, a huge kick that won Dignitas their first team fight in the river, and Dignitas utilizing that tempo with the kill in the bot side. They're going to crash a wave, take the second Rift Herald, and continue to push their lead now. A big bounce back for them as they've been able to find the plays that they need to get themselves back in this game and take a pretty commanding lead here, Kangas.
And now Kumo could be in trouble on the top half, but there's multiple members of Dignitas here. X-Flash over the wall, Paranoia goes out. Kumo's got the flash, he tries to somersault, but he just grabs onto the spell shield. Will get out with the stride breaker. Wow, Kumo surviving through all of that. A lot of time spent from Dignitas trying to kill him. They do not find it.
JJ wasn't able to rebind with the Nocturne and guarantee that attract, repel, stun with the Rel. Didn't see when the first cast was out, but Rel also ultimate held, not quite able to get Kumo. Kumo does buy some time for the rest of his team, who, FlyQuest, they've used that to get back out onto the map and take control over this bot side River Kangas, as they do see the top lane tower, but need to play for these dragons and stop the stacking from Dignitas, who have picked up the first 2 dragons. They're set up to do so in this bot side river. They have full control with Cloud Dragon spawning here in 15 seconds.
I just want to see them control these choke points. One criticism I have so far for Academy teams is they'll get priority, but then just give it up immediately. As I say, Akumo and Yusui in a 1v1 themselves. Yusui feeling good right now. You're 2-0-2, but you should still respect that that's 2 kills on the set. He's not that weak right now and under turret, but again, FlyQuest, can they control this choke point, control the avenue that Dignitas have to get into this dragon objective? And they've done a good job so far. I think that they've secured this.
They've given it up. They realized they didn't want to face check the Rumble. They took control over the topside jungle of FlyQuest. They're looking to dive Kumo. Relatively difficult to dive, but with Rel and Diana, that's a pretty powerful combo with the CC and the damage. And they're still kind of poking their heads around here, looking for a Diamond.
Ooh, Diamond, you gotta be careful. Flash forward from JJ, just hard engaging in onto the Karma. She's still alive, staying way longer than they were hoping for. And NXI's also got some damage now to follow up from FlyQuest. They absolutely turn this one, Cubby. Maybe Spawn can do this. Maybe Lorlo can do this. Yusui as well, pretty untouched. Spawn taking a lot of damage. Triple with the resets, but Yusui and Lorlo turn the lights off. They get onto Tomo. Triple, can he do it? Can he get the 1v5 play? Lorlo with the fear. Triple push back. He almost had the turnaround play, but Lorlo and Yusui will stay alive.
That's the dream fight for Viego and Triple. We're going to have to get a replay. I think he missed one of the later ultimates trying to go for the resets, and oh, that was so close. We're going to have to take another look. So Diamond, the exhaust onto Acadian ends up buying so much time, and it's time spent on the equalizer, right? So this is a good turn for FlyQuest. They have all the members coming. Triple instantly picks up JJ, instantly takes over Diana's soul, tries to go in here, gets the kill onto Spawn, becomes Tristana, then hops on Lorlo, and where do things go wrong? Oh, misses the ultimate because Lorlo used Paranoia to get to the other side of the fight, Kangas. Beautifully played from Lorlo to dodge out on that. Now they're trying to turn it on.
Triple's in
trouble.
trouble.
The side lane.
JJ's here with the help of Lorlo. They don't have Paranoia, but they don't need it. Triple way too low, way too isolated, and Lorlo does bring the damage. Picks up a kill with the help of his support, and Triple caught in the side lane. Dignitas are right back in this game, Cubby. They have a 4,000 gold lead. Yeah, they lost one of those dragons, but it's looking like they can close this one out as with just a couple more good calls.
Dignitas, when you prevent Viego from getting the resets, that was a scary fight for them, right? Viego, if that ult lands on Nocturne, I think he cleans the rest of that one up, but Lorlo, pretty slippery in that Paranoia, right? Getting around that ult. The one thing that Dignitas do still have to worry about is that Ezreal scales very hard against their team, right? Is always going to be able to deal with the dive, is going to outscale with the range, and Divine Thunder is rather strong, but
Acadian says, you only got so many tools to deal with this dive, plus I got an AD carry behind me. Spawn picks up that kill, and now they also get Diamond. Paranoia comes in, NXI way too isolated from the rest of his team. Maybe Triple can help him out, but nope, that's 3 picked up for Dignitas. And Dignitas Academy looking revitalized in this series, Cubby. A rough day one, but they are not mental boom. They are ready to show up and take down FlyQuest, who have yet to have a loss.
And this Viego in these fights just not impactful enough, right? If you aren't able to take over enemy champions and get resets from there, Viego isn't able to do much, and we're seeing that with Triple and Kumo just not quite syncing up. The members of FlyQuest going in one by one against a Diana, which Acadian, once he got a lead, I mean, you're able to press that so easily on Diana if you get ahead with the damage and the ability that you can just pull the trigger instantaneously with a basic ability going in. Dignitas playing much better today as they look poised to take game one and their first game of this early Academy season.
Cubby, you're talking about the kite back of an Ezreal. That was his E, that was his flash. It wasn't enough. Acadian and Spawn can still get on top of him, and then they have so many more tools to follow up.
If you land a Q as Diana onto any squishy, that squishy is going to have to burn sums, and it doesn't matter because Diana can gap close once again. We saw that as FlyQuest, Tomo just not quite able to dodge out on the abilities necessary. Ends up being taken down. And to be fair, the rest of Dignitas was routing off Tomo, so he was dead there no matter what, just due to what the map position that Dignitas put the marksman of FlyQuest in, but that's a couple huge deaths as FlyQuest, they go in one by one. Dignitas, they take them down one by one. Now they're looking to take down the rest of the base and the towers one by one as they have the Baron buff and are looking to make use of this power play.
That was a 20-minute Baron, Cubby, very early on. Sometimes you see teams not get much for these crazy early Barons, but Dignitas making full use of it right now. They are actually getting a lot of damage down. They took down that tier 2 bot turret here. And can they find more? FlyQuest are grouping up, trying to make sure that Dignitas do not find more turrets, do not find more structures, and that's really the only way that they can do that, as long as they stay together as 5, because if they are isolated, this Nocturne, this Diana, they are just blowing people up if they're alone. And FlyQuest's only answer is just stick as 5 and, hopefully prevent these turrets from falling, too many of them at least, but this might be all ladder turrets, this might be triple in a side lane, has to use that ultimate cooldown just to get out.
Nice buffer there by Triple, able to survive with the Unstoppable. I think one of the big issues, too, for FlyQuest is once they got behind... Oh.
That's a lot of damage to Lorlo.
Wow.
Yeah, that's why Rumble's pretty good in the jungle, yeah.
Yeah, he does have TP, so he could TP on this wave, and he's going to ult, and yeah, they're going to look. Here we go.
I don't think they even need to fight. You can just TP, ult, and then take that inhibitor. Like, FlyQuest have no response. Maybe they could have looked for the 5v4, but not once those lights go out. So well played by Dignitas Academy. I like that look right there, that kind of call. Top lane's open, supers are pushing, dragons on the table.
And, I mean, you talked with Lorlo yesterday when we were covering the EG Dig game right beforehand about what Dignitas wanted to do to improve themselves this split with no roster changes. And the key word in that conversation, Cake, is it was aggression. Dig. They want to become an aggressive team, and those are the plays, the macro plays, using things aggressively with this early game team comp to try and snowball a game, take the win. What we'd like to see out of these academy teams, they are looking to push themselves and improve.
And some key members that I want to highlight here. We talked about Spawn in the pregame and the performance that he's been giving. Yesterday, looking like kind of the bright light of the team, but also Yasui right now on the Lee Sin, having an absolute pop-off performance. Two of the younger players on this team with the least experience as well from the roster. Happy to see them finding success right now here. And then also, of course, Lorlo in the top lane, weathering the storm of the set. Kind of awkward with that early gank where Acadian gave over that first blood, and then also the repeat gank from NXI where they got a kill, but hey, Nocturne's back online.
Yeah, and they're going to wait for these ultimates, Kangas, as they don't have Baron buff anymore, but they have knocked down one inhibitor, so that guarantees shove in the top side for Dignitas. And you have to think that with this Tristana and the range, as long as they don't get poked out by FlyQuest, they can deal with this. And one of the issues for FlyQuest this game, Kangas, is when you think about what Dignitas wants to do, right, this is a dog pile composition. Rel, Nocturne, Diana, Lee Sin, we would just want to get on top of the carries. How does FlyQuest deal with that if Kumo isn't here? I think that's where we've seen Dignitas get a lot of their success, because Kumo, he got fed early, but wasn't able to use those TPs to kind of join the fights when necessary. And to be fair to him, the fights were over already because FlyQuest were just too far up against Dignitas' comp. They were able to punish.
Oh, here we go. This is the play from Kumo. That's exactly what they needed. Right as you're setting it up, Cubby Kumo knocks it down, spawns out of the fight. JJ killed as well. FlyQuest off of a crazy play from Kumo actually get 2.
Big mistake there from Spawn, just not respecting the clap from set. Kumo sees the play, goes for it. This does buy FlyQuest a little bit more time and takes the big carry of Dignitas off the map. So this will get a little bit more gold into their pockets, but FlyQuest, they need a few more of those plays to get back into this game overall, Kangas. They still find themselves at a major deficit and stuck within their base.
And Dragon Soul on the table here. Dignitas don't need to push for that much. They can just control the map, make sure that those supers top lane are always pulling somebody from FlyQuest to answer, and then having a numbers advantage as they're invading into the jungle, getting all this vision down. You see the vision lines. Dignitas with a lot of deep wards, seeing any avenue that FlyQuest have to come into this bottom side of the map, and it's a while till Dragon's up, but if you can control this vision, if you can maintain this kind of dominance, yeah, thank you, observers, for highlighting that. Like, FlyQuest can't see anything, and there's no camps for them to clear, so it really just comes down to try and catch waves as they come into you, and maybe find a pick, maybe find somebody from Dignitas who's just making a mistake and out of position.
And it's got to be off the back of Kumo, right? Because that is the engage. We don't have a Leona, a Nautilus, and Alistar for Diamond to really find angles or find engages with, it has to be Kumo, the most experienced member for the side of FlyQuest, going back to his time with C9 Academy, C9 EG, EGA. This time it does have to burn Flash.
Or you can just wait for Dignitas to engage onto you. That's also an option for this composition, but that wasn't what they were hoping for. That's just Flash out of Diamond, and they don't find much else for it other than teleport out of Yasui. So Dignitas, they say, okay, nice that we got the control of the bottom vision, but Baron's on the table, so that's actually the next objective. Let's just take this one for free here. Yasui plus Lorlo combo, jump right in onto triple. He has to flash away, but now the return from FlyQuest. They're hoping to turn the fight, but they just don't have the numbers. NXI went very far forward, had to go golden and flash, but still dies. And that means Dignitas should just get a free Baron.
I mean, that fight was over before it started with just how hard triple got chunked out. And then, of course, NXI, as you correctly pointed out, Kangas a little bit too far up. Wasn't able to get the Flame Spitter off while he was golden too, which prevents some of the damage that Rumble is able to put out. As another Baron taken by Dignitas. Perfect timing too. The soul is up in a minute.
Yasui flashing forward, committing the summoner spell for the kill. Second Baron, Cubby. This might just be game. That's a key pickoff right there for the side of Dignitas Academy. They have minions in the top half of the map. 40 seconds on triple. The rest of the team's joining in. They're not going for the Nexus turrets. They're going for the middle turret instead. They want these inhibitors. Yeah, top inhibitor just respawned also, but they can maybe play through this mid wave and top turrets or top waves crashing as well. FlyQuest, they have to defend right now. They have the equalizer. Maybe they just use that to clear out the waves, but NXI's holding it. They could just look for the fight, but it's a 4v5 as JJ now joining in. There's the Paranoia diving onto the back line. Diamond's out of the fight. NXI's blown up. Lorlo just does way too much damage. Kumo's trying to fight a 1v3 on his own on the side there. Can't win it quite. Tomo almost takes down Lorlo, but does get feared. Yasui can clean this one up. Lorlo not dead. Lorlo still in the fight. Triple with the resets. He gets one. He's not going to get enough, though. There's too much damage on the Nexus, and Dignitas Academy will get their first win of summer 2021.
Well played, the Dignitas. They turned around that early deficit very quickly off the back of a good mid-jungle duo from Acadian and Yasui, and some nice roams from JJ. Took advantage of the fact that Diamond on Karma, once you get set behind in tempo, really difficult to answer some of the roams that Rel can find, and Dignitas, they find the ball as they end up taking their first win of the Academy summer season.
Much better look for Dignitas Academy compared to yesterday. Getting off the Viego was huge. This is now, how many games of Viego have we seen? And he hasn't won a single one. I know it's over 4 at this point.
He is 0 for 4, and if any viewers are tuning into the second stream, Nerd Street LOL, and have seen a Viego loss, feel free to let us know, because it's a new champion that it seems to me like a solo queue menace. And once games get a little bit more controlled on the big stage, it can't really pop off. So that's
Triple had that one performance where he almost did. He almost cleaned it all up, but not quite. So, I mean, Dignitas Academy, I like this new draft style from them. They still get Yasui on an AD pick in the mid lane. I think that they showed a lot of what their initial preseason prep was yesterday, but I'm happy that they have other things to fall back on. My hope now is that they still have more adaptations that they can pull out here, because we've seen what doesn't work for them. We've seen what does work for them. That gives FlyQuest a lot of information going into game number 2.
Yeah, and I mean, props to Dignitas, right? Because the 2 games they had yesterday were not pretty, going up against Evil Geniuses and up against FlyQuest. They definitely went back to the drawing board in the last 24 hours, picked a much better mid-jungle duo to make Diana work, and Acadian made it work very, very well in that game. Looked very powerful on that pick into the Rumble, taking advantage of that counter pick and delivering his team a win with the help of Lorlo as well, who I know he got set behind really early in that game by the set, but hey, he turned it around on the Nocturne, and honestly, the fact that he paranoia'd, dodged out of that Viego ultimate, it did prevent a lot of shutdown going over to Viego, and helped ensure that his team would find that victory. As looked very solid on the Nocturne as well.
Every member from Dignitas Academy showing up in that game number 1. We'll send it over to a short break before we find out if FlyQuest can bounce back and give us another 1-1 for the day, or if Dignitas will even up their scoreline in the first week. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this.